closure. I'm older and I'm moving faster than ever. I'm cold with it, whether for casters or whether it's 4 lines or more. I'm the master of never.
What's up, guys? It's Pastor Jordan. I'm back with another video. If you haven't yet, make sure that you go check out my new podcast called Talk Deep. It's a podcast where we talk all about the taboo topics that people like to hide under the rug. It's really, really good. I have 2 episodes out so far. There's an episode every Monday. You would really, really enjoy it if you love the things that I say in these videos. It's similar content and it's really, really good. Other than that, I have some new announcements. So I told you guys we're kind of revamping everything on the channel. I've been updating profile pictures. I've been updating banners, everything else. I've been updating the merch. The merch has been gone for a long time. We're bringing that back soon. But we also updated Patreon. So if you're an artist, if you're somebody who's trying to grow some kind of channel or brand or anything else, you gotta pay attention to this, all right? As a channel that's around 40,000 subscribers, I average about 100,000 viewers a month. With that being said, on Patreon, my second tier for $5 a month, you can become a member and you'll get this little record that'll pop up. And with the little record that'll pop up, you'll get to say anything that you want to say. You'll get to say any message that you want to say. Subscribe to me at whatever. Follow me at this handle on Instagram. Follow me on my SoundCloud. Whatever you guys want to share, you can share it. For $10 a month, if you become a Patreon member, you can request any song that you want for me to react to, and I will do it and make a video. It can even be your own song if you want it to. And I'll do once a month for $10 a month. Other than that, like I said, I think that it's a great way for you guys to grow. I've been really kind of racking my brain about how I can convince you guys to support on Patreon as well as be able to offer you something in return. And I've been following this guy named Gary V, and he said that the best way to give somebody something of value on Patreon is to give something that can't be scaled. So I can't react to more than 10 videos a month or I'll get bogged down. I also can't show that many ads on my videos or it'll ruin the video. So I can't scale that up. But what I can offer you is my time and my patience and my effort, and leverage this channel to create a community that grows and finds really good artists who may not have the biggest following yet. So if you're interested in that, make sure you go check out my Patreon. It's going to be the first link in the description. It's super important to me that you guys know you have a way to support this channel if you want to, and a way to use my channel growth to kind of start you off in the right direction as becoming an artist and having a following. So other than that, we're going to react to Juice WRLD, Tales of a Loner. I haven't heard the song before. I don't know if this is the same as Tales of the Toxic. I'm not sure. You guys will let me know, but you guys have asked for both of those songs. So today we're going to do Tales of a Loner. But that's it. So, sorry for all the long announcements, but now we're just going to hop right into it.
What will you do if I am infected? Cure me?
Yo, FGY, what you got?
I wonder if there's anybody looking. I'm talking about the shadows in the mirror. I wonder if there's anybody watching.
I don't know if I've heard Juice on a piano beat yet, but it sounds really good.
Yo, FGY, what you got?
I wonder if there's anybody looking. I'm talking about the shadows in the mirror. I wonder if there's anybody watching. It's hard for me to see into the darkness. Everywhere I go feels haunted. This isn't the life I wanted. Listen to the tales of a loner.
It's gotta be the same song then. But it's already, I don't know, I keep going back. I'm sorry, but it's just really good.
It's hard for me to see into the darkness. Everywhere I go.
So he says, I wonder if anybody's watching. And then he says, I'm talking about the shadows in the mirror. Then he says, I wonder if anybody's watching. I'm talking about the I can't really see into the darkness. And so he's basically saying, for one, I feel like I'm not alone in this dark place. I feel like there's somebody or something that's like orchestrating all this bad that's going on. Right? We all feel like that. We all feel like there's something demonic or satanic when all these bad things are happening to us. We don't feel it's like it's just by chance, but we feel like maybe something bad is going on. And then he also says, I can't really see into the darkness. So it's the idea that it's frustrating when everything around you is going bad and you don't really know what's going to come next, right? I always say that it would be easier to deal with something that's difficult if you knew how it was going to play out, right? Even if you knew it was going to end badly, just knowing how it's going to end makes it easier to deal with, because there's no anxiety attached to that, right? There's no anxiousness attached to that, because you know how it's going to end, even if it's a bad ending. And so usually we enjoy that more than even if we just were in a bad place, but we didn't know how it was going to turn out. And so he's saying, I can't really see into this darkness in my life. I can't really see where this is leading. We find ourselves in those situations very often, and it can be overwhelming. But the way that you have to deal with that is to remember what you do know and to stand on what you do know, right? You may be struggling with a certain situation, but remember that you're still important. Remember that you still matter. Remember that you're still valuable. You may be struggling with, you don't know how something's going to turn out. Remember to stand on what you know. It could be any kind of situation. But if you hold on to what you do know, you're going to be a lot more firm and secure in those situations. I'm trying to think of an example, but I'm not coming up with one right now, but I'm just going to continue. And so you don't know what's in the dark. You don't really know who's out to get you. You don't really know what's going to happen. It's a bad place to be. At the same time, on the switch, on the flip side of that, he knew kind of where he was leading, especially with his drug addiction. I'm going to make a video on those tweets that came out pretty soon. That's the one I should have done today, but I forgot. But that one will be out soon. But I still think it doesn't affect anything as far as how we talk about juice on this channel, because we already knew that to begin with. But then he says, everywhere I go feels haunted. This isn't the life that I wanted. Oh boy. The grass is greener on the other side, They say that envy is ignorance. Meaning that if you're looking at somebody or you're looking at something and you're wanting it, thinking that it's going to solve your problems, it's ignorance. It's not real envy, right? If you're envying somebody else's situation, it's ignorance, because you don't realize that once you get in that situation, you're going to see that it's just as bad. And maybe it's not bad in all the same ways, but it's not going to be perfect. We spend our whole life going from one thing to the next, hoping that it's going to be better. And sometimes it is. And I truly believe in self-improvement and growth and personal reflection to grow. But the idea that you're just going to get to some place where everything's perfect, that's ignorance, because you're not. We're always going to be growing, we're always going to be changing, and it doesn't matter what situation we get into, there's going to be some kind of problem, there's going to be some kind of strife. And you have to learn to deal with those things and overcome them, right? You're going to spend all this time single. You're going to spend all this time, living on your own, or living with your parents, or living with whoever, and then you're going to feel like you've been working on yourself so much that you're ready to be in a relationship. And then when you get in that relationship, you're going to find things about yourself that you didn't even know you do. You're going to find things about yourself that you didn't even know happened, because now you're put into a different situation and new issues come. If you've been dating for the longest time and you're ready to get married, you better be careful, because you're going to be engaged, you're going to be loving each other, and then you're going to end up living together, and there's going to be problems that come up that didn't come up when you weren't living together, because it's a new situation. Everything's not going to be solved by changing the situation. It's the fact you have to be the kind of person that gets into a new situation and works to solve those problems too. Your life is going to be what you make it, right? So you have to make sure that every time you get into a new situation and the problems come, you're ready to face them. Don't have the expectation that you're finally going to get to some level of life where there's no more problems, because it doesn't exist.
I go feels haunted. This isn't the life I wanted. Listen to the tales of a loner. Listen to the tales of a toxic. Yeah.
I find it because he's saying, listen to the tales of a loner. So he's talking about himself. Like, I'm opening up. Listen to my story. And then he's saying, I'm opening up. Listen to the tales of a toxic. Listen to the ways that I went wrong, so that you can understand. And that's one of the things that I appreciate about Juice Wrld, is that he made a lot of mistakes, but he never shied away from the fact that he made those mistakes, right? When he messed up, he admitted that he messed up. He admitted that he was struggling with drugs, or he admitted that he made a mistake. For him to call himself toxic in those areas, I think is mature, because he's pointing out these are not the best, areas in my life. These are not the best things or best examples that I can set. But you know, you can look at my example and say either those things are good, follow them, and also those things are bad, don't follow them, right? His life isn't just a perfect example of what people should follow, but his life is a very vulnerable and opened up like picture of what life is. Life is tough, life is messy, life is ugly at times, life is a struggle, and he never hid those things. And so you can take so much away from Juice WRLD's life, not because he was the perfect person, but because he was so open about everything. That's where people really get something from it. I say it all the time that we live in a culture full of advertisements. We see statistically thousands of advertisements a day. So we know what BS is, right? We know when something's fake. So when you find somebody as real as this, you're captivated. That's why you guys love my channel, because everything's so fake. I don't post the fake funny reactions and it's so stupid, dude. But you guys watch my videos and you're captivated because I'm so real. I'm not going to waste your time with a bunch of fake BS. I'm going to be real about the things that we talk about. But I appreciate that he can identify himself, you know, in the good parts. He's an amazing rapper. He says it himself. He's one of the best. But also, he calls himself toxic because he knows he has issues too. And that's how we have to be. We have to look at ourselves in the mirror and see it in truth. And that's where growth comes from. Also, according to YouTube, most of you are not subscribed. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button if you like this video, if you like my content. You can always unsubscribe if you don't like it or if you change your mind, but it really helps me out. It really helps the channel out. And it would mean a lot to me.
Gather round, I'll tell you a story about my fears, my flaws, and doubts.
Yes, I've never heard this song, and it's just like, this happens so many times when I react to Juice WRLD. I say something because I feel like I understand where he's coming from, and then he elaborates on it, and it just shows that I was really understanding what he was saying. But I love reacting to Juice WRLD just because I feel like it just always works that way. You know, I wish I could have met him because I feel like we would have maybe not been friends, maybe not been really close, but I feel like our minds are on a similar level, you know, and we would have been able to communicate in a way that like kind of just bypasses all the small talk.
Gather round, I'll tell you a story about my fears, my flaws, and doubts. In all of my issues, the hole I fell into.
It's good, dude. It's a good song. No wonder.
Drugs keep me company, a promise I could keep. Take the pills with the lean, watch how fast I fall asleep.
It's almost kind of like, I feel like his rhyme scheme in this one is really simple, almost like a lullaby. I don't know if that makes sense.
Take the pills with the lean, watch how fast I fall asleep. Will I wake up? We gon' see. Have you ever lived in a dream where your nightmares playing hide and seek? Nigga preach, demons on my chest.
That's honestly, that's the vibe right there. So drugs keep me company, a promise I can keep. Take the pills with the lean, watch how fast I fall asleep. It feels like a lullaby to me almost, like, will I wake up, we gonna see. So he knows that he's kind of dabbling in this like addictive mind state and addictive tendencies that are very damaging to his life and his body, you know. An addict, I talked about it in the podcast that's going to come out this week with one of the viewers, but we were talking about how as an addict you're always chasing that first high, and so you always end up needing to take more and more and more to feel the same in your head, but your body cannot handle that much drugs, and so it becomes very damaging to you, and the highs become very, like he talked about it in the last song that I reacted to, where it said he felt like it was melting and burning because it's so hot, because your body's just like on the verge of overdosing. And he's talking about it here. He's like, I don't know when my time is going to come, because I know that I'm abusing these substances to the point that it's dangerous, it's life-threatening, but I can't stop. And then he says,
have you ever lived in a dream Where your nightmares playing hide and seek.
And that's kind of like, that comes back to why you do it in the first place, right? You can't stop because you can't just quit the drugs because everything else comes back, right? The Bible talks about this, and I talk about it in almost everything that I say, but you can't just get rid of an addiction and expect it to stay gone, because you have to replace it with something else, right? You can't get rid of all the negative things in your life and expect that you'll never go back to them unless you replace them with healthy lifestyles. So if somebody's addicted to drugs, they can't just quit drugs and then that's it. They have to replace that with a healthy lifestyle, with healthy choices, right? If you talk about somebody who's overweight and you say that they just need to go on a diet, they've learned now that that's the wrong mindset to have, but that you have to say you're going to choose a healthier lifestyle now, because it's not a diet, it's a new way of living. And so when you quit drugs, it's not just quitting drugs and living the same. It's a new way of living. It's a new way of thinking. It's a new way of breathing. Everything is new. And the problem is that when people try to quit drugs, it's just all these nightmares come in. All these nightmares, it's just back and forth between like all this pain and all these different mental like blocks in your head that just tear you up. And that's why most people stay addicted, is because they don't know how to cope with all of the emotional damage and the emotional trauma that got them hooked on the drugs in the first place. I hope that makes sense.
Your nightmares playing hide and seek. Nigga preach, demons on my chest. I can't breathe.
I wonder if there's anybody walking, talking about the shadows in the I wonder if there's anybody watching. It's hard for me to see into the darkness. Everywhere I go, things harder. This isn't the life I wanted. Listen to the tales of the lonely. Listen to the tales of the toxic.
I wonder if there's anybody looking. I'm talking about the shadows in the mirror. I wonder if there's anybody watching. It's hard for me to see into the darkness. Everywhere I go feels haunted. This isn't the life I wanted. Listen to the tales of a loner.
Listen to the tales of the toxic.
This joint is FGY certified.
Dude, that's a good song. Honestly, super good. Alright, so that's all, man. Like I said, if you are an artist and you're trying to grow a little bit, check out my Patreon, because there's some good stuff for you there, and I hope that it helps. And I know that if I had those opportunities when I had first started, I would have jumped on them so quick. And besides that, you know, if drugs is an issue for you, if substance abuse or addiction, whether it's pornography or lean or you know, Xanax or anything else that you're struggling with, make sure that you tune into the Talk Deep podcast, because we talk about a lot of that stuff. We talk about getting clean from substance abuse. Make sure that you plug into all the things that I have, because I'm trying to create genuine tools for you guys to grow and to heal and to learn. You know, message me on Instagram or anything else, and I promise that I will do my best to answer you. Other than that, I will talk to you guys in the next video.
8-8, porn screaming, make way. Make room in your life, I'll be your Potiphar's wife. I'll ease your pain and your strife, I'll be your reason to lie, so you can eat with your eyes, make love with me in your mind. I've been looking for you, I just wanted to help you. I know you're struggling right now, it's been a while since I felt you. I know just a thing to ease the strain, that it overwhelm you. Just forget about your problems with the way that I touch you. I know you think about it, you open pics.